So we found a story that sounds super cursed, and today we're gonna find out if it's real or fake.
Hi, I'm Thea from Connecticut.
Hi, Thea.
I didn't grow up in a normal household.
Yeah, you were rich.
Dad basically raised me all by himself.
Dang.
Because mom was a teenager trapped in an adult's body.
I mean, that sounds like a life that a lot of us wouldn't be too upset with if you were the mom.
She partied every night and didn't come home until
This
3
sounds fun.
a.m. She asked me to make her breakfast every day. Oh, sweetie, can you make mommy waffles?
What?
I don't know how to make waffles. I'm 6. But I'll let you have some of my Cocoa Puffs. Dad wasn't happy with mom's behavior.
Bro, no kidding. If my wife went out and partied until 3 a.m., what? We're done. We're divorced. Andrew Tate.
Divorced when I was 8. Dad and I lived on our own
Oh, they did get divorced. How about
for
that?
the next few years. I was kind of a nerdy loner, but my life was good.
Yeah.
I got straight A's, I played the trumpet, and I was super close with Dad.
Nice.
One day when I was in 10th grade, things took a big turn. Dad fell in love with a widow who he married later on.
Oh, that's so nice. The dad seems very healthy. The new widow seems very nice. I'm sure that she has no baggage from a husband that recently died. I'm sure that'll be fine.
The minute we moved in with her, I knew I liked her.
Nice.
Your dad told me you got an A on your history test. So to celebrate, I baked you a cake.
How many of us need this in our lives right now? And I gotta add on, in the background, that's a money tree, and I have one of those, and I love that.
You baked me a cake because I aced one test?
Yeah.
Okay, Dad, she's a total keeper.
This is wholesome.
Mom
Oh,
had 2 twin daughters,
Never mind.
Brenda and Lily, who were a year older than me.
I was gonna say this is wholesome, but then, I feel like early on, I got this vibe that maybe it's not wholesome.
But they clearly hated that their mom had met someone, so they refused to talk to me and Dad. Unfortunately, my stepmom
Why?
didn't have the best relationship with her actual daughters.
Yeah, but let's just take a minute here to appreciate how nice this teal to green ombre looks on her, because that is fire.
Brenda was a wild child who stole money from my stepmom's purse to buy cigarettes.
Oh.
Lily was busy being the school queen bee and dating a different boy every week. She barely passed her classes. Of course, just sleep till noon, don't do your homework, and waste your life.
I know that we're trying to decide if this is real or fake, but why was that shot so detailed for the feet?
I wish you two were more like Thea. She's smart, talented, helps me with chores, and
Yeah.
doesn't steal my credit card. The
Yeah.
closer I grew with my stepmom, the more my stepsisters started hating me.
How did you not see them holding the carpet?
One day I was sitting in class and started itching like crazy.
Oh, no.
That's when Lily started snickering.
Dude,
Does the kitty have fleas?
that's a weird thing to say.
This isn't funny. I could have a serious skin infection. The teacher sent me to the nurse and found itching powder in my pants. I just knew Lily had sprinkled it in there. I was really mad and I wanted to tell stepmom, but I decided to let it go this time, just because I didn't want to make things worse between us. But that thought never occurred to those two. They kept stealing my stuff, breaking my things, and leaving unpleasant little presents for me.
Why are you not attacking back? At this point in this girl's life, I feel like she should be attacking back full force. I'm talking literally bring the army, bring the Navy. Start calling Navy SEALs in.
Start taking her down.
One time, I was on my way to school when suddenly, a bunch of girls pinned my arms behind my back. And with them were Brenda and Lily.
She got a whole posse now? Okay, now my Navy SEAL idea didn't sound too bad.
We're gonna need your wallet, loser. I wanna get a lip piercing.
Ew.
I need a new dress for a party this weekend. I knew I wasn't a match for so many of them. Suddenly, I let out a scream loud enough to wake up the dead.
Okay.
They all looked shocked as I kept screaming like a maniac.
Now we're talking. Okay, that's a good defense mechanism.
People stepped out of their houses at the noise, and that sent the girls running. I was feeling quite pleased with myself.
Nice, now start attacking back.
Till I got to school, a bunch of kids walked by laughing, holding up their phones. Hey, freak, don't forget to wear a diaper tonight or you'll wet your bed again.
No.
I whipped out my phone and saw the post everyone was laughing at on Instagram.
See, okay, wow, that's kind of funny though. Like, that's a pretty good Photoshop, to be honest.
Brenda and Lily had photoshopped my head on the top of a baby's body.
Wow.
The caption read, "Our poor stepsister still wets her bed."
But if someone actually did this in real life, I can almost guarantee that the person who posted this is the one who's getting bullied, right?
I felt my blood boil. At recess, I scanned the
Recess? How old are they?
cafeteria for my sisters. Brenda wasn't there. I marched up to Lily's table. Everyone thinks I'm a freak now because of you and Brenda. You two know very well I don't wet my bed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Thea, don't be embarrassed. I've told everyone I'd help you find a doctor for your problem. Either you tell everyone at school that you lied, or I'm gonna tell Mom you're failing half your subjects.
You didn't think of doing that like a year ago? You just waited until just now to do this? This girl does not understand the concept of revenge.
You wouldn't do that if you know what's good for you. We can make your life a living hell. But I was bubbling with rage, and I'd had enough.
Let's go. Let the anger take over. That's what I've been saying the whole time.
Only did I tell stepmom all about Lily's awful grades. I told her about the bedwetting rumor, the itching powder, and how the girls had tried to steal my wallet.
Okay, we're a quarter of the way through the video right now. I'm third of the way, actually. And I want to do every third of the video. I'm going to give it a ranking on how real or fake the story feels. So right now, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. This video feels 100% real. Let's see how it changes throughout the video.
And as Brenda walked into the room, I decided to make up a lie. Oh, and Brenda joined a gang. She cut lunch today because she was hanging out with other gangsters behind the school. It's her gang members who attacked me. I did not—
You know what, though? That's not entirely false.
Join a gang. My friends and I may have shoplifted a few things in the past, but I'm not in a gang, witch. Suddenly, she leapt forward and pounced on me, yanking my hair hard. My stepmom pulled us apart and refused to believe a word she said. She was beyond angry at those two and grounded them for a whole month without any gadgets.
That's pretty intense.
And I didn't feel bad at all because they really deserved it. But thankfully, by the next week, everyone seemed to have forgotten about the bedwetting rumor.
Wow, can you imagine if your school was so toxic they released a gossip today document? Like every day you got a newspaper called This Week's Gossip and you saw your name on there because you got broken up with.
I even made some friends who wanted to sit next to me in the cafeteria. And then one day in biology—
Why is that so realistic? Just like they actually just took a realistic
class. Oliver, the hottest guy in school, tossed me a folded paper. It read, "I have good news for you. I'm single, I think you're pretty, and I'm free tonight." I laughed out loud at the corny pickup line, and the teacher glared at me. Still, no guy had ever hit on me before. I wrote Oliver my phone number and spent—
She folded it into an origami frog and sent it back. That's impressive.
the rest of the day giggling and daydreaming like an idiot.
Nice.
Then all of a sudden, Lily slammed me against the locker. "Get off me, you witch!" Rumor has it that Oliver asked you out.
How could that have spread if she didn't tell anyone?
Well, guess what? He's my ex-boyfriend, which means he's off limits. Please, you've basically dated every guy in school.
Oh, hits him with the
Sure, you
big
can spare
one.
one of your exes. It's the sister code. You're never supposed to date a sister's ex. You've been horrible to me ever since I moved in with you. Why should I follow any sister code?
Uh-oh. Now I feel like that's even more, like that's gonna motivate her to date this dude now.
And just then, I got a text from Oliver. "Meet me at the movie theater tonight?" I asked Dad and Stepmom's permission before going on a date, and they said yes. "Let me braid your hair, sweetheart. Your first date with a boy."
Oh, this is exciting. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty realistic.
Her first date with my ex-boyfriend. Mom, it's so unfair. No guy has ever asked me out before.
Oh, why are you complaining to your mom about that? Like, what?
Now even nerdy McDork has a date. Brenda, maybe you'd get more dates if you weren't always getting into trouble.
That does seem true.
Lily, don't be selfish. You've already had your fair share of boyfriends. Brenda and Lily glared at me, but I didn't care. I was going on my first date.
Why do I feel like this is a setup, though, somehow?
And it went perfectly.
Okay, never mind.
Oliver brought me a cherry slushie so we could share the 2 straws. And halfway through the movie, Oliver held my hand and kissed me.
Wow.
I decided then that I was gonna make Oliver my boyfriend.
I really thought this was gonna fall through. There was gonna be some kind of prank. It really just seems like a really nice date night. And he brought her a cherry slushie. So can you really hate the guy? That's beautiful. Good job, buddy.
Was I gonna let myself be a nerdy outcast my whole life?
No.
No, I was not. Oliver and I started dating, and I totally transformed myself. I replaced my glasses with contacts and started wearing makeup.
Oh no, now the sisters are gonna hate her because she's too pretty.
It's sad that you think a little mascara will make you as pretty as me. Funny you say that. Oliver seems to like me just the way I am.
This girl's got confidence. All right, we're almost to the next rating on how realistic we're at. We're gonna do it in 50 seconds, so we'll see what we're at.
Let's hope he doesn't dump you the way he dumped Lily. Apparently, she wasn't pretty enough for him. Lily got really silent, and I could see tears in her eyes.
She has emotions.
Oliver had dumped a girl like Lily? Before I knew what I was doing, I put my hand on Lily's shoulder, but she jerked it away angrily.
Oh, man.
Ew, don't touch me, you creep. Thanks for telling her about me and Oliver, Brenda. You're the worst. No wonder you never get any dates.
Dude, I love that the characters change color now when they feel weird.
And Brenda turned bright red. I wanted to say something, but I knew I'd be no help. I was my sister's sworn enemy at that point. The next day at school, I went up to Oliver reluctantly. I gotta ask you something. You dated my stepsister Lily, right?
Yeah, worst mistake I ever made.
Okay.
You mean 'cause she wasn't pretty enough for you?
No. Because she's a Dumbo who fails half her classes
This guy seems like the nicest dude we've ever seen in one of these videos. Usually they're terrible. This guy seems genuine.
and only cares about clothes. Listen, I got a surprise for you.
Suddenly, Oliver reached into his
Wow.
locker and pulled out
He seems too perfect. Something else is going on.
a flower bouquet.
Prom is next weekend, Thea. Tell me you'll go with me.
Just then, I saw Lily standing in the corner,
Oh,
watching me.
that's awkward.
I answered yes before I could think.
All right, we're at 8 minutes now. We're 2/3 of the way through. My realistic rating is still quite high. I think this is a 10 out of 10 right now for it could be possible. But you never know. In the last 4 minutes of this video, anything could happen. Maybe they're gonna be adopted by a walrus.
I had a date to prom, and my sisters were getting their karma. Then suddenly, as I walked down the stairs with Oliver, Lily walked up to me. She bumped into me and I tripped, tumbling down a flight of stairs.
Oh my God, you tried to kill her?
Kids gathered around me and someone called an ambulance. When I got to the hospital, the doctor treating me said I wouldn't be able to walk for a month. I was stuck in a wheelchair.
What did I say 10 seconds ago? The last 4 minutes of these videos, things get crazy.
And every night before I went to sleep, my dad and stepmom had to lift me into bed.
Jeez.
Lily never apologized. In fact, she and Brenda started totally ignoring me.
Oh my God.
Then a couple of days before prom, I wheeled into the living room to find Dad with a suitcase.
Your stepmom and I are...
Yo, what did I say? What did I say? It's just going downhill. Here comes the walrus.
We're leaving in an hour.
What? Why would you guys split up?
After what Lily did to you, I realized we couldn't live in the same house anymore.
Dad, I'll be able to walk again in a month. And I know the girls are mean, but I can deal with it.
It's not that simple, Thea. After the girls lost their dad, Brenda became a complete train wreck. Lily struggles in school because she has a learning disability.
What?
And then you made things worse by dating the boy who broke Lily's heart.
Oh, blaming the girl in the wheelchair. Okay, this sounds
And
good.
you lied about Brenda being in a gang.
Oh.
Yes, I know you did that. I love your stepmom, but our kids come first. And I don't think it's good for you girls to be around each other.
Dang, this is brutal. And I don't know now what my realistic meter is for how true this story is.
I was too shocked to speak. Dad and I left that afternoon, and I felt sick to my stomach.
Wow.
My stepmom didn't even see me or say goodbye.
Oh my
Probably
God.
meant nothing to her now.
What a toxic family.
Dad and I stayed in a motel temporarily. Oliver picked me up on prom night, and I tried to forget about everything that had happened. But when we arrived at the dance, Lily marched up to Oliver and me. I can't believe you asked Thea, of all people, to be your date.
Finally! And now this is where I think he's gonna say,
I did it to make you jealous because I want you back.
that's what I'm expecting him to say.
Yeah, because Thea's gorgeous.
Oh.
And I feel bad that she has to deal with having a stepsister like you.
Oh.
A dumb Barbie. You should just drop out of high school, Lily. That's how stupid you are.
Oh my.
Lily looked shocked and hurt at Oliver's words. Hey, Oliver, that's my sister. You can't speak to her like that.
Lily's your stepsister. Why do you care how I speak to her?
His question caught me off guard, but I knew one thing for sure. I didn't want him to be my date.
Wow.
I pushed him out of the way and wheeled over to Lily. I know you hate me, but let's go hang out somewhere.
She tried to literally kill you less than a month ago, and you're like,
I forgive you already. I'm gonna leave this boy who's been there for me.
We don't need boys to have a good time. To my shock, Lily agreed and walked away with me before
I just don't see that happening personally.
Oliver could answer. We had to use the bathroom, and when we entered, we heard someone crying.
It's gonna be your other sister?
We opened
No,
one
I
of
just-
the
no.
stalls to see Brenda in a mess. Oh my God, what happened to you? I'm an idiot. What's wrong? Some criminal boy asked me out to
Criminal?
come, and I said yes because he was cute. But then he told me to steal something from an old lady, and I refused. He and his friends threw me out of their car into the middle
Jeez.
of nowhere. I had to hitchhike here. Brenda, why do you do stuff like this? Hang out with criminals, smoke cigarettes? You're better than that. My mom was sort of like that. She lived this wild life and always came home a disaster. I don't want you to end up like that. Lily and I helped Brenda clean up.
Dang.
But when we finished, the girls looked awkward and said they were gonna go home. I thought we'd had a friendly moment,
This is it. This is the realistic moment. Now it feels right.
and I'd finally made a breakthrough. But maybe I was wrong. But the following week, I came home from school to find the motel door open, and Dad and my stepmom were sitting together on the couch. What's going on?
Sweetie, Your stepmom and I are getting back together. We shouldn't have let the issues with you girls ruin our relationship. It may take some time for you, Brenda, and Lily.
You know, it's tough to say because there's some unrealistic things. I'm gonna give you my final rating here in a minute, but there's a lot of things to take in on this one today.
To adjust to this new life, but we're here for you.
Suddenly, I started to cry and wheeled over to hug my parents.
Thea, we may not be related, but I love you like my own daughter.
I love you too. I've never had a real mom before. A short while later, my parents invited Brenda and Lily over and told them everything. They went completely silent.
Lily, Brenda, I love you both so much.
Okay, so now the mom's being supportive. We're gonna have this little happy ending. Maybe they're all gonna hug or something. Let's see.
And I'm proud of you. Having Thea and her father a part of the family won't change that.
I don't know.
Can you try to accept them?
Yeah, we could. Thea, you're not as bad as I thought. Brenda and I were talking about it, and it means so much the way you helped us out that night at prom.
We don't hate you anymore.
I mean, see, to me, that's kind of realistic. If you did something nice for people that are mean, maybe they'll accept you, but also maybe they're gonna absolutely destroy you. I don't know.
And we're sorry for the way we've treated you. I think I'm ready for a fresh start, you guys.
I'm not gonna give it a 10 because I just don't see a girl dipping her boyfriend for a girl who almost killed her, but I will give it an 8.5. It's possible, it could be realistic. Peace.